I wonder whether you have ever noticed this. In many football games or any games for that matter, when they're doing very well, the managers, the players are really praised, and the fans are very, very happy about the progress of everything. But as soon as the team starts performing in a way that is not acceptable, aka they are losing the games and they are moving down the table, the fans are not happy, the owners of the club are not happy, and eventually you find that the head coach is fired or relinquished of his duties. When things were going well, they had confidence in him. When things started going down, they didn't have confidence in him, and they cut him off. They don't fire the players; they fire the head, the manager of the team. You've seen this in Premier League clubs and all over clubs all over the world. When it comes to even businesses, especially companies listed in the stock exchange, whether in the London Stock Exchange, New York Stock Exchange, or any stock exchange in the world for that matter, when the companies are performing very well, the shareholders are happy. Those who trade the shares in the trading platforms are happy. They have confidence in the company. As soon as the company starts doing badly, very soon you know who they go for. The CEO is the one who is relinquished of his duties, and maybe they try to replace him. They don't fire the employees, though they're the ones who do the bulk of the work. Even countries, nations. This year, there are going to be a lot of elections all over the world, in the UK, here, in the US, and many other countries as well, having elections. If the electorate is not confident of the leadership in place, they will not vote them in. And even that particular party, if they lose the elections, when the members of that party sit down, they get rid of the leader of the party. It's not about any other person. So here's the thing. John C. Maxwell once said that everything rises and falls on leadership. Leadership is a very crucial factor in success. So everything rises and falls on leadership. And I think he is right. But here's the thing, even if you look at families, in your own family, maybe, if things are not going very well, might be a crisis of leadership there. In some families, the woman in the family will just decide that, you know what, I don't have confidence in this guy. If the guy is the one leading the family, I don't have confidence in him. And he's just made a series of blunders and what, and the lady might decide to go. It has happened. This is not fiction. But what about when it comes to your own self? You cannot fire yourself. If there's crisis after crisis in your life, it might be the case that there is a crisis of self-leadership. You might not be leading yourself very well, but you're stuck with you. You cannot fire you. You're stuck with yourself. So what do you do in that situation? What do you do? Well, it's better, I think, you start leading yourself to better things and better horizons. There's no other way. There's no one who is coming to the rescue. Your financial destiny, your happiness, your joy depends on how you lead yourself, on how you take charge and take control of yourself. So how might you do that? Here's I think a suggestion. Three things that I think might be very useful to help in self-leadership. Number one, you start by being authentically true to yourself, being true to who you are, and not pretending, just looking at your circumstances and situations, say, you know what, it is what it is right now. Being true to who you are, not lying to yourself. When you say you're going to do this, you make sure you're going to do it. When you say this is what I'm going to be uh, taking my life to, you make sure you do that. You don't promise yourself things and then don't do them, or you don't try to fulfill the desires of other people when you yourself you feel like that's not the thing you ought to be doing. The fourth thing in self leadership is authenticity, and authenticity with your own self. When you start living like this, then you've begun the journey towards excellent self leadership, being authentically true to yourself. Now, that's the first thing. The second thing is that you need to take 100% responsibility for your circumstances right now and for your circumstances in the future. You have to take charge and say, it is, if it's going to be, it's up to me. Take charge, take responsibility. There are many people just go on the blame game. They criticize, they condemn everyone else but themselves. But the situations and circumstances that you find yourself in did not just magically happen. One or the other, you are a part of where you are right now. This is the truth about our lives. When we start taking responsibility, 100% responsibility of the present moment, of the things that concern us now, then invariably we'll be taking charge of the future as well. Try as much as you can to try to alter the future without taking responsibility for the present moment, and it won't happen. They are so intertwined. The future and this present moment are so intertwined. In fact, I dare suggest to you that this present moment is the doorway to the future. And by not taking responsibility of this present moment, it becomes difficult for you to take charge of the future. This is how it works. You take charge of this present moment, take 100% responsibility for this moment, for all the circumstances in your life right now. Whether you feel like it's someone else contributed to it, you just say, it is what it is now. What do I need to do with this now? How do I need to change the situation now for where I want to go? When you take charge of now, then tomorrow, it's like you've taken charge of tomorrow as well. But it starts with you taking charge and taking responsibility, 100% responsibility for where you are right now. That's part of self-leadership. That's the second thing you can do as far as getting yourself together and leading yourself to where you want to get to. The third thing you can do is this. You can inculcate within yourself a culture of being better every day improving yourself. Don't compare yourself with other people. You see, at any one time, there is someone who is much, much better than you are. And at the same time, there is someone who is so, so much worse than you are. If you compare yourself to others every time, when you find someone who is doing much, much better than you, you'll get depressed. You would think your life is worthless. And yet that's not true. And yet at the same time, if you compare yourself to someone who is doing worse than you are, you get this sense of false consolation. The only person you need to compare yourself to is who you are yesterday. Because that person you know that person very well. You know what circumstances you were going through yesterday. You know the feelings you're going through yesterday. You know the mistakes you've made yesterday. So you try to be better than who you were yesterday. Other people, you have no clue. You have no idea what they're going through. They might be putting a front, showing that maybe they're doing well, but they might be going through terrible things. You don't know. You simply don't know. And that's why it's a fallacy or a mistake for you to compare yourself with some other people. So, number one, on your journey to self-leadership is that you need to start being authentically true to yourself at all times, in all places. Number two, take 100% responsibility for the situation and circumstances in your life now, if you want to take charge of the future. And number three, be better every day. Improve yourself every day and compare yourself not to other people or circumstances, but compare yourself to who you were yesterday. Because you know that person, you know what they felt, you know how they feel, you know everything about them. You don't know anything about other people. You can only guess and assume, and that's not a good thing. Okay. Now, what would be the result of you taking charge of yourself? One, you're going to feel a sense of control over your life. The blame game is gone. Now you feel like you're in charge. even if things don't work out really the way you want, but you feel like, I've got this. There's that sense of happiness that will well within you. You feel you live, there's a purpose to your life because you are in charge. You've not relinquished authority and power to other people to lead you. You feel you're going somewhere. And more importantly, you will see that your finances or your financial destiny there'll be light in it. Because the more responsibility you take of yourself, you'll be more pleasant to be around. You're not someone who is blaming others, who is criticizing, and you're taking charge. You'll find that opportunities to make money and to improve your financial well-being will also improve. So this is what I wanted to share with you today as you step into the weekend. That leadership, and especially self-leadership, is very important for your overall well-being, for your financial success, and just for progress and success in life. So embrace that. Do those three things I've suggested. I do them every day for me. I recognized this fact many years ago. And it's one that is helping me move forward in my life that much. Now, here I have a question for you. What do you think? Put some comments below if you feel like this area of self-leadership is quite important. Maybe you have some experience where you took charge of yourself and the things that started happening in your life because of that. That might be what someone else out there is waiting for as well. So if you comment on this post of maybe how you found this post or how important leadership, self-leadership is to you, that might be something that someone else will read and say, yeah, you might put a different perspective to what I have just said. But I want to thank you once again for taking time to join me this morning for this episode. And I hope you will take charge of yourself, lead yourself to the places and things that you want to have. It won't happen they won't happen on their own. They'll require your input. And I hope and I wish and I pray that your journey for tomorrow will be great. Thank you very much. God bless you and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.